G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Delling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, professional victim, Senator Linda Reynolds, gave a retirement speech last week, Wednesday the 26th of March 2025. And it's worth watching parts of it, where she plays the victim, defames Brittany Higgins and her partner David Shiraz, tries to rewrite history. There's 4 key reasons why you should watch the video, and I'm only going to show you the edited parts where she plays the victim. And the 4 key reasons why all voters should watch it are: 1, as I said, Linda Reynolds was lying and deceiving right throughout, trying to defame Brittany Higgins and David Shiraz using parliamentary privilege, which is a real abuse. Linda Reynolds said former Prime Minister Scott Morrison is also a victim of the plan that Linda Reynolds claimed Brittany Higgins and David Shiraz ran. You should also watch all the current MPs and senators. They're supporting Linda Reynolds. These people are going to be in Parliament on an ongoing basis, as long as they get voted back in. And for them to be in Parliament supporting Linda Reynolds' lies is scandalous by itself. And it's important someone like me follows up on this story, because the Liberal Party, Linda Reynolds, the Murdoch's News Corp are trying to rewrite history with lies and deception. Now, before I show you the video, I'm just going to make 7 key points that put in perspective Linda Reynolds' lies. Number 1, Senator Linda Reynolds called Brittany Higgins a lying cow and had to pay Higgins compensation for defamation. 2, Senator Linda Reynolds perjured herself at Bruce Lerman's rape trial on key evidence about when she first knew about the rape. Number 3, Senator Linda Reynolds tried to coach Bruce Lerman's lawyers at the rape trial with evidence she thought would help Lerman. Number 4, Senator Linda Reynolds asked Lerman's lawyers for a transcript of Brittany Higgins' evidence, which was before Linda Reynolds gave evidence, so she wanted to obviously tailor her evidence based on what Brittany Higgins said. Number 5, Senator Linda Reynolds sent her husband from WA, Western Australia, to the ACT to watch Brittany Higgins give evidence. Once again, she wanted to get feedback for what Brittany Higgins said in the trial under oath, obviously to try and tailor her own evidence depending on what Brittany Higgins said. Number 6, Linda Reynolds gave an interview to support Bruce Lerman and attacked Brittany Higgins on 7 Spotlight TV show. And number 7, Scott Morrison set up the Gatchins inquiry to find out who knew what and when about Brittany Higgins' rape. All Morrison had to do was send an email to staff asking questions, but he refused to do it. He set up the inquiry to try and sweep it under the carpet, and there never was a Gatchins inquiry report produced. The staff of Morrison's office lawyered up. I wrote an article about it. They refused to participate in the investigation unless they had their lawyers present, because they themselves didn't trust Scott Morrison. They knew what a lying grub he is. And it's worth noting that Linda Reynolds gave a speech in Parliament only days after former Judge Walter Sofronoff had a serious corrupt conduct finding made against him in relation to the inquiry he headed into the Brittany Higgins rape cover-up. Now, I want Linda Reynolds to be the star of the video, so I won't say more now, and I'll publish an article tomorrow with more information and more links, and that'll be well worth reading. Now, here's the video of Linda Reynolds. The whole speech went for around 50 minutes, but I've edited it down to 15 minutes, where she's whinging, playing the victim, defaming Brittany Higgins. Well worth watching. And those parts are spread out throughout the 50 minutes, so I've edited it down to 15. And at the end, I just left it there so you can see the people who are supporting Linda Reynolds, because quite a few of those people will still be in Parliament after the election. Although potentially some will be voted out, but a number will still be in Parliament. And those people supported Linda Reynolds in her attempt to cover it up and her lies and deception. So here's Linda Reynolds now.
And I'm going to ask for Senator Reynolds to join us. Senator Reynolds.
Here. Thank you. Well, thank you, President. First and valedictory speeches are the bookend to our parliamentary careers, and I'm deeply appreciative of the opportunity to do this valedictory speech tonight, to have the opportunity to reflect on the things that I'm so proud to have delivered in this place, and also to thank the many people, many of whom are here tonight, who have helped me along the journey. I'm also very grateful to be leaving the Senate at a time of my own choosing. An opportunity I'm very well aware not all members and senators have. But let me be very clear about one thing. While I am leaving at a time of my choosing, the timing of my choosing has been expedited, and expedited by events that are well known to all in this place. Those events have inflicted deep wounds on so many. However, my wounds do not define who I am. They have not distracted me for a second from what I was elected to do here as a senator and member. But they have made me stronger and they have made me wiser. But more on that later. As senators, we choose this life, but our families are conscripts. And I think it's safe to say that it's never really been that easy sometimes to be related to me. I've got to say, what those opposite did to me was so brutal and so deliberate. But they also did it to my family and my partner. And for that, I am so deeply sorry that my career choice has done so much damage to those that I love the most. I'm also more grateful than I could ever express that so many friends, staff and colleagues are here tonight. And I know many more are watching online. I've received the photos of the screen on with the glasses of wine in front later. And I know, and many of you here tonight know, that it's not always been easy being my friend either. And for that, I'm so deeply grateful that year after year you have kept showing up to support me and be my friend. But as third on our Senate ticket, I almost lost in the 2014 Senate election rerun. And then I was referred to in the media as one of the unluckiest people in Australian politics. And I've got to say, after the experience of the past 4 years, one could be forgiven for thinking that maybe they were right. But nothing could be further from the truth. Unfortunately, in this speech, I can't completely avoid dealing, at least in part, with what I now refer to as the plan. I have never disputed, not once, Brittany Higgins' claim about what happened in my office in the early hours of one Saturday morning. Brittany Higgins and David Shiraz developed a political #MeToo plan based on a simple but very powerful lie. A lie that has now resulted in the longest and largest political scandal in our nation's history, and one is well into its 5th year. Brittany always knew the truth. Justice Lee dealt with this in his judgment, where he sets out the false representations and false warranties given in her settlement deed. And Justice Lee said this: "What is notable about Ms Higgins' account of a cover-up or victimisation allegation is not only in its inconsistency with the contemporaneous records and its falsities, particularly as to Ms Higgins dealing with Ms Brown, but also its imprecisions and reliance upon speculation and conjecture." He also said this: "Putting what occurred at this meeting on the 1st of April and the events of the preceding days together, a clear picture emerges, but it is entirely at odds with the notion of an attempt being made to cover up an allegation by discouraging it to be reported to the police." Now, the moment Labor's leadership made the conscious decision to politically weaponise Ms Higgins' allegations, my life and that of so many others were changed forever. And every human being, no matter how strong you are, has a breaking point. Labor deliberately and oh so very surgically and relentlessly found mine, whatever it took. That type of persistent and aggressive personal attack would never be tolerated in any other workplace in this country. Labor so badly wanted the allegations that a female cabinet minister and a prime minister had covered up the rape of a young woman. They so badly wanted it to be true, they didn't actually care if it was true or not, I believe. But consequently, as a result of their actions, Labor failed to exercise any proper judgment or independence before becoming so publicly involved in perpetuating a story that Justice Lee described as insufficiently scrutinised and factually misconceived conjecture. I never wanted to sue Brittany or David, but ultimately I was left with no choice, and I've been asked why I did it. Once the Attorney-General barred me from defending these highly defendable workplace allegations, he left me with no other alternative but to fight for the truth and for justice under defamation law. The Commonwealth's conduct in the swift settlement with Brittany sent a clear and a very unequivocal message to the nation that these demonstrable lies were in fact true. This enabled me to continue to be grossly defamed. And as a senator in this place, I had to fight for my and my staff and my family's reputation. And people ask why. But if in the Senate, if in this chamber, if we don't fight for the truth and justice, where on earth in Australia do we fight for it? I had no choice. Of course I had to fight. Now, once Justice Toddle has delivered his judgment, then I will have a lot more to say about this. However, I'll conclude on this matter by saying this. In the next Parliament, it is my great hope that all parties can come together to agree on how we set the standard in this place and calibrate it so it is the same standard that we legislate for every other workplace in this country. To do that, to set the standard, we also, not we, it won't be we anymore, but those in this chamber will have to agree where robust and privileged debate finishes and where inappropriate workplace behaviours and bullying starts. The abuse of parliamentary privilege is no longer acceptable. Scott Morrison appointed me to several portfolios over his tenure as Prime Minister, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities that he gave me. Emergency management, defence industry, defence, the NDIS and government services. Scott and I spent much time together in 2019 and 2020 visiting a range of natural disasters across this country. And what I saw in him was a leader who had great empathy and demanded decisive action for those in urgent need. And what he saw in me then as Emergency Management Minister, he also saw in me as Defence Minister. We may have had our differences on occasion, but when I collapsed in this place, Scott rushed over to the ante-room and he was so incredibly kind. He sat with me for over an hour while I was sobbing hysterically and completely incoherently. But he sat there, he looked after me, and throughout my recovery, he stayed in contact with me and my doctor. And when others were baying for my head, he kept me in cabinet, which gave me a new purpose, it gave me a new challenge, and it gave me hope. And what happened to me also happened to him and to his family. He was also a target of the plan, of the lie. So, Scott, I thank you for your service to the nation. You know, they say sometimes this building is a very lonely place, and it can be desperately lonely. But when the chips are down and when you can't defend yourself or look after yourself, having people here who drop everything, they rally around you, they lift you, they support you, and they make sure you're okay. And for that, I cannot, and Jane and many others in here, but I cannot say thank you enough. You are the reason I'm still standing here today. I'm blessed with the most amazing staff, both in my electorate and ministerial offices. I owe an enormous debt of gratitude to you all. One I know I will never be able to repay, but I hope in some way that you take great pride in the work that you have done and the experiences that you have gained. But I am sorry that for a number of you, your choice of workplace, working for me, was not always a safe one. You too have been subject to behaviours that would be unacceptable in any other workplace. A tsunami of hatred directed at me via every possible communications medium. And for that, I thank you. Again, there are no suitable words. Now, I may also be the first senator ever to thank their lawyers and their doctors. So this might be a first. So firstly to Ashley Sakalos and his team at Clayton Utes. Over the past 4 years, you have supported me through a defamation case, a criminal trial, a judicial inquiry into the criminal trial, a civil workplace claim, multiple defamation claims and 2 NAC referrals. Your compassion, your professionalism and your sheer endurance has kept me going through these never-ending proceedings. So thank you. Inadequate as it is again, but thank you. Now to Martin Bennett and his amazing team, Rachel, Talisha, Andrew and Cindy. You have supported me now through several separate defamation actions, including the defamation case we're awaiting the verdict for. But I'm so grateful that they have been so thorough in piecing together the detail of the plan. There are thousands and thousands of documents now that just demonstrate exactly how this plan was developed and executed. And I'm very grateful that you have brought to light the truth, which has given me great peace, and I know many others, in terms of finally having their voices heard. So having you in my corner has been life-changing in so many ways. For the hundreds, if not thousands, of random acts of kindness that I and my team have received from total strangers who send these most wonderful messages, it has made all of the difference, and it just reminds us that there is great good out there and there are good people in the community. But my final and most heartfelt thanks is to Robert. I'm so very grateful for the love and unconditional support, particularly over the past 4 years. It has been unimaginably tough for you. You have had to fight your own battles as well as mine, but you have never taken a step away from my side. And for that I love and thank you. In conclusion, I leave this place with great sadness, but also with immense gratitude and great pride. Sorry. I know who I am, and I have remained true to my values. I know who I am as a woman and as a leader, and I have confidence in my abilities. I'm a much better and wiser person for the sum of my experiences in this place. And I thank the people of Western Australia and the Liberal Party of Western Australia for the greatest honour of my life. I look forward, I really do, despite the tears, I look forward to the next chapter of my service, wherever that will take me. Thank you. Yeah. I almost made it.
Now you can make up your own mind, put your comments in the comment section below this video on YouTube, have your say, and please help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button. That way you get notified every time I publish a new video. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I publish a website and a YouTube channel, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. You can either become a monthly supporter or do one-off donations, you can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. All helps out in a big way. And you can go to my website for other donation options on the donations page. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.